What's up guys, Jonny May here from Piano with Jonny, and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you the easiest way to swing tunes in a lead sheet. Guys, I call this three-part swing method, and it's a method for playing basically any tune in your fake book in a swing style. And guys, what makes this method so cool is you get a very rich sound to your playing. You get the melody, you get walking bass, okay, and then you get chord pops in the middle. And this is the way I love to approach lead sheets. Now I'm going to teach you this method and what I call the stock bass line and stock chords. This is a bass line that you can use on virtually any swing tune, and these are chords that you can also use on virtually any swing tune. All right guys, you ready to start? Let's go ahead and dive into the quick tip. All right guys, we're looking here at the lead sheet. We're going to be working through Autumn Leaves. This is a very famous jazz standard, and it explores a very cool progression called the cycle of fifths. And we talk a lot about this progression in our courses at Piano with Jonny. So it's an excellent chord progression and tune to work with. Let's go ahead and start with the melody. We're just going to do a quick overview of the melody, and then we'll talk about these stock approaches, the stock bass line and the stock chords. Okay, we're playing Autumn Leaves in the key of E minor. Beautiful melody. Let's just go over the single notes here and go ahead and play along with me. We have E, F sharp, G, C. We drop down to the low D, D, E, F sharp, B, B. Then we drop down to C, C, D, E, A. And we're going to drop down to the B, B, C sharp, D sharp, and G. And that's basically our melody. It's a very simple melody and kind of a repetitive melody. And then we play this again. And that takes us back up to the C. Okay? Now guys, I want you to get this to tempo. Usually for my students who want to play swing music, I recommend 120, 130 BPM. So try to get this up to speed. But I do want to move you guys along and talk about the stock bass line. And this is such a cool bass line because it works over the cycle of fifths progression regardless of whatever tune you're using. Let me show you guys this bass line. Okay, super cool bass line. Guys, what I'm basically doing is I'm trying to target each chord, and if you look at the lead sheet, we start with an A minor 7, okay, and we go to a D7, okay, so these are target notes that we're going to try to hit on the first beat of every measure. G major, C major, F sharp minor 7, flat 5, B7, and E minor 7, okay? So these are like targets, and we want to hit these on the downbeats of every measure, okay? So how do you walk a bass line? Well, to walk a bass line, you fill in between these notes. And there's basically two approaches that I love to use on a walking bass line. The first approach is a walking approach, and I usually walk up, okay? So here's the idea, guys. Basically, I want to get from an A to a D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, I've got to fill in basically 4 notes of that measure. Okay, the way I do this stock bass line is I start on the root and I usually go whole, half, half, and then half step. These are half steps and whole steps. And so this is a general approach to walking bass line that works if your chords are all a fifth apart. Like A is a fifth from D, D is a fifth from G, G is a fifth from C. Okay, it's called the cycle of fifths progression. And so, you know, other tunes like Fly Me to the Moon use this progression, All the Things You Are, and this is a great approach for cycle of fifths progressions. Okay, so once more, we're gonna walk up into the D chord tone, and then here's my other approach. I go fifths down. Okay, so we're gonna go D, A, D. Those are fifths, and then we're gonna use little upper neighbors to get into our next target note, okay? The two upper neighbors to G are A and A flat, okay? So we're walking fifths down, upper neighbors, boom, we're on the G, okay? Now guys, I just taught you my stock bass line approach. If you understand this basic idea, you can apply this approach to the entire chord progression without having to think too much about it, okay? So once again, we're walking up. Okay, by the way, we'll go to a quick little A down there to swing the bass line. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then fifths down. And then we're going to walk up, same method, G to C. guys see that? Whole step, half step, half step. Okay, we throw a little G there on the bottom to swing it, and then we go fifths. Okay, C, G, C. Okay, pretty simple. Now we're gonna do those upper neighbors to F sharp. That's gonna get us to F sharp. You guys see that? Now we're gonna walk up, whole step, half step, half step. You guys see what I did there? We're going whole step, half steps into the target note, B. You guys see that? Fifths down. Okay, that's F sharp, B. And then we're gonna use these little upper neighbors to get us into the E minor chord. And once again, we're using that kind of chromatic idea there, okay? Now from this point on, we're gonna basically be sitting on an E minor chord. And whenever I'm just sitting on a chord, in other words, I'm not moving to another chord a fifth away, so I'm not moving to an A. Well, in this case, I just sit on the chord and I walk chord tones up the piano. And so what you can do is go E, F sharp, G, E, B. Okay, I'm walking up like an E natural minor. And then I come down the E minor chord as well. I'm going root 7th, 5th to the flat 5, okay? And so at this point I can repeat the chord progression. I get back to this A chord, and that's kind of where I started, right? And so guys, this is a stock bass approach to the cycle of fifths progression. It works on a ton of tunes like Fly Me to the Moon. You guys see that bass line walking up, fifths down, walking up, fifths down. Okay, very effective bass line. Let's go ahead and do it one more time together. I'll go medium slow, and then we'll move on to step number 3. Okay, and by the way, guys, this is 3-part jazz arranging. We covered step 1, which is the melody, step 2, which is the bass, and step 3 here will be the chords. Okay, here we go. Full bass line. Go ahead and play with me. A 1, 2, here we go. A, B, C to C sharp, D, fifths down, chromatic into G, walking up, fifths down, chromatic into F sharp, fifths down, you're doing great, and then chromatic into your E minor chord. All right, and then we're going to walk this down, and we're back to the Okay, super cool bass line. What I recommend that you do is get this up to tempo, about 120 beats per minute. And also I recommend you try playing the bass line with the right hand. In fact, let's do it once together and then we'll talk about the chords. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Super cool, guys, okay? So when you're playing bass lines, you don't want to complicate it too much. Use this stock approach, it's very effective. Now guys, if you want to learn more bass lines, we have a whole course on bass lines, and there actually are a number of ways you can play bass lines. And so we've created an entire course at Piano with Jonny where you guys can dig more into this topic if you want to learn about walking bass lines. But again, this stock approach is a great way to do it. Okay, let's move on to step 3, guys. What's step number 3? Well, first we got the melody, second we got the bass, third we need some chord pops. Okay, we need to fill in the gaps. So this is the kind of the third idea is we got the melody, we got the bass, the groove. Now we sort of color it with some harmonies in the middle. And what I love to use, guys, are what are called rootless voicings. They're really beautiful ways that you can play major 7, minor 7, and dominant 7th chords. So let's go ahead and learn these really quick. There's not too many of these. The first chord is an A minor 7. I put a G on the bottom, a B, a C, and an E. Okay? This is called a B voicing. It's built on the 7th of the chord, and this is a stock approach to chords. Okay, if you want to learn all of your rootless voicings, we have courses at pianowithjonny.com. We'll put a link to that below, but where we talk about each of these chords, and we teach you all of these techniques. Okay, A minor 7, D7, you just move one note down, G to F sharp. You guys see that? It's a D7 chord. G, major 7, beautiful major 7th chord. We have a 7, a 9, a 3, and a 5 of the chord, really, really lovely, to a C major 7 chord. And look how close these chords are together. You oftentimes only have to move 1 or 2 notes to move between chords. Next chord is an F sharp minor 7 with a flat 5. Okay, beautiful chord. And our second to last chord is a B7. Okay, but we're going to use an altered chord, make it very colorful and jazzy with a G and a D on the top. Okay, we have D sharp, G, A, and D. Okay, it's called a B7 with a flat 13 and a sharp 9. Okay, if these don't make sense to you, again, check out our courses at Piano with Jonny. We have step-by-step courses in jazz where you learn all of these concepts. And finally, guys, E minor 7, we're going to use an A voicing, G, B, D, and F sharp. Okay? So guys, these are your chords, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw these in the gaps of the arrangement. Okay? And what I might practice here is just going roots. You see what I did there? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. We're going to just move that little groove there, that little chord pop to the end of the measure so that we can fit in the second half note of the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay? And then the rest, we're going to do the same rhythm as measure 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. You guys see that? So I'm kind of going early, right hand before the left hand chord, and then E, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? All right, guys. We are at the final step. We're going to combine all of these elements to create this very full sounding arrangement, what I call 3-part swing method. And again, I use this on virtually all swing tunes to get a very full sound. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to go measure by measure. First measure. I kind of swing that 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now we're in the melody. 1, 2, 3 is together, right? 3 and 4 and 1. I push the D chord. And then 2 and 3 and 4, that's together. And then 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, it's like that. 2 and 3, you guys see that? That's together. 4, let's go ahead and move along here in the arrangement. You're doing great. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the 1 is in the gap. 2 together, and then 1, 2, 3 is together, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is together. All right, guys? Now, a lot of our students at Piano with Jonny read sheet music, and so this is something we include on the top left side of the screen. This is very helpful. In our membership at Piano with Jonny, you can actually download most of our lesson sheet music, and we also have smart sheet music, so you can actually change the key of this sheet music. You can play Autumn Leaves or these tunes in any key that you want with the click of one button, so it's very powerful. But if you don't read sheet music, that's okay. You don't have to be able to read sheet music to learn from our courses. Guys, let's go ahead and do it medium, slow, start to put it together, and we'll kind of talk about some final steps. Okay, go ahead and play with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you're back to where you started. All right, so great job. If you were able to play this, awesome work. Now guys, for these chord pops, you can change the rhythm. Sometimes I'll go. Okay, you can do some different rhythms, pa, pa, pa in the middle, but change it up, have some fun with it. Another question I get a lot from students is pedaling. You know, Jonny, do you use the pedal on styles like this? I don't use the pedal during the measure. But I do use it at the ends of the measure, and I use it as a crescendo device, so it kind of swells the phrase. Here's why I put the pedal. 1, 2, 3, down, up. Okay, like on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, down, up. 1, 2, 3, down, up. Okay, so it's at the ends of the phrases. Use it as a pedaling, or rather as a swell device. Finally, the last thing, guys, is popping certain notes, okay? Okay, you want to make this really short here. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? and then you know, certain notes you also want to make longer than others. All right, guys, this concludes this week's quick tip. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And guys, if you enjoyed this course, check out our other courses at pianowithjonny.com. We have the Jazz Swing Roadmap, where we've got 21 different courses where we teach you step by step how to play jazz piano, starting with basic chords, basic harmony, looking at lead sheets, developing tunes. We have a whole course called Autumn Trees, which uses this chord progression, and we talk about how to develop the lead sheet with bass lines and different left-hand approaches and harmony, and how do you fill, how do you embellish the melody, and how do you solo, how do you improvise over tunes like this. We also have courses in jazz ballad playing, which we call cocktail piano, Latin, jazz, blues, boogie woogie, courses in improvisation, theory, technique. Guys, it is a full learning platform, and we have lessons for all playing levels. Also, guys, be sure to check out our membership. This gives you unlimited access to all of our courses. Plus, you get access to our live monthly events where we do a monthly Q&A where you can ask me your practice questions. We do a live monthly workshop. We do weekly challenges for our members. We have ear training exercises. Guys, it is the full learning platform. So go check out pianowithjonny.com, and I'll see you guys in the next quick tip.